People who grew up in the 1970s learned independence very early. There were no constant check-ins, no tracking apps, and no instant calls. Children walked to school alone, played outside for hours, and were expected to come home before dark. Mistakes were part of learning, not emergencies. This childhood taught them self-reliance, but it also taught them that asking for help was rarely necessary and sometimes not welcomed. Emotions were not openly discussed. Crying was discouraged, and sensitivity was often misunderstood as weakness. Instead of explaining feelings, people were taught to control them. Pain was handled quietly, fear was hidden, and happiness was expressed modestly. As adults, many from this generation struggle to talk about emotions, not because they lack feelings, but because they were never taught the language for them. Responsibility arrived early. Children helped at home, cared for siblings, and learned that life demanded maturity. There was little space for prolonged childhood. You adapted quickly or fell behind. This created strong problem solvers, but it also created adults who feel uncomfortable resting, relaxing, or admitting exhaustion. There were no smartphones, no endless notifications, and no instant entertainment. Boredom was unavoidable and powerful. Long, quiet hours trained patience, imagination, and focus. Minds learned to wander deeply. Today's constant stimulation often feels overwhelming to this generation because their brains were shaped by silence, not noise. Authority was rarely questioned. Teachers, parents, and elders were obeyed without debate. Rules were rules. This built discipline and respect, but it also taught many people to suppress their own opinions. Even now, many struggle to challenge authority figures, even when something feels wrong. Friendships were direct and personal. Arguments happened face-to-face, not through screens. Words mattered because they couldn't be deleted. Loyalty was strong, but emotional openness was limited. People learned to stay together even when communication was imperfect. Work was introduced early and taken seriously. Helping at home or working part-time was normal. Productivity became tied to self-worth. Rest felt earned, not deserved. Even today, many from this generation feel uncomfortable doing nothing, as if their value depends on constant effort. Love was rarely verbalized. Instead, it was shown through responsibility, sacrifice, and staying. Fixing things, providing stability, and showing up mattered more than saying, "I love you." Emotional expression felt unnecessary when commitment was proven through action. Struggle was normalized. Hard times were expected. People learned to endure silently and adapt quickly. Asking for help felt like weakness. This created incredible resilience, but also loneliness. Many carry burdens alone, believing strength means silence. This generation mastered emotional control. They learned how to remain calm under pressure and hide inner storms. But suppressed emotions don't disappear. They settle quietly inside. Over time, this can feel heavy, even when life looks stable on the outside. Today's emotionally expressive, digitally open world often feels unfamiliar. Constant sharing, vulnerability, and emotional exposure can feel overwhelming. Many from this generation prefer privacy, depth, and fewer words. They observe more than they speak. People who grew up in the 1970s are not emotionally cold. They are emotionally trained to survive quietly. Beneath the silence lies strength, loyalty, and endurance shaped by a harder, slower world. Their psychology is not a flaw. It is a reflection of the time that raised them.